Okay, so this is our sample poetry binder, and I wanted to put together this video just going through the order that it should be in now. I want to put together a video because I know some of you are a little lost. So this is our poetry binder. It's our beautiful 1-inch 3-ring binder. Our cover page looks like this. You do need to draw a picture, color it, make it pretty, make it your own, whatever poetry means to you. Okay, and then when you open it up, the first page should be your poetry binder table of contents. And the cool thing about this table of contents is as you add to it, you can mark those off and kind of see as we go down the list. So table of contents, that's your very first page. Second page, as you can tell by your poetry table of contents, is your list of terms. See? So it should be hole punched in here. I have a hole punch in class if you need it. So does Miss Robinson. Okay, that's just an extra copy. These are just extra copies of the poetry terms and the test. So, Ode to Pablo's Tennis Shoes. This is what we worked on in class. This should be the next page. And then your annotated Ode to Pablo's Tennis Shoes. We read this in class. We annotated. We made notes. As we read it, we talked about what it meant to us. That was our annotations. So that should be your next page. And then the sample Ode to Edmund, written by a previous student, should be next. And on the back side, it actually talked about our assignment. So again, the front side, Ode to Edmund, the back side, the writing assignment, your rough draft ode that you wrote. This should be on notebook paper. That's your next page. Okay? And then your ode final draft. Typed. It should be typed and printed. If you need it printed, you need to send it to me so I can print it out for you or visit the library. That's your final draft. Next. So then we started moving on to narrative poems, and that started with the Cottontail. Again, we did this in class, so you should have that completely filled out back and front. And then you have the sample Cottontail poem. Not my favorite poem because I didn't like how they shot the rabbit, but anyways, it's a narrative. It's telling a story. Cottontail poem. Okay, here we start brainstorming for our narrative poems we're going to write. And again, we worked on this in class, so you should have that filled out. And then your guest poet sheet. So that was the bright pink sheet where we reviewed poems when Miss Wegener visited. Bright pink sheet, that's your guest poet sheet. Should be next. Your sample biography poem. That's the back that looks like this. This should all be filled out because we did this before we wrote our rough draft. And again, this should be on binder paper. Our rough drafts should be on binder paper, handwritten. And then if you did the extra credit, you would have the final draft typed. Okay, so you might not have this, but I'm hoping you do have it because I'm hoping you did that extra credit for 20 points. That is your final draft typed family biography. Cinquains. Cinquains are those 5-line poems. So we started talking about cinquains. We did this in class. We reviewed the format of cinquains, and then we talked about them. And then we started writing them. Again, we did this in class. We created some. And then it reviews our assignment. Our rough draft cinquains on binder paper should be next. And then final draft is after that. And you'll notice that every time you start with the in-class work and then the rough draft on binder paper and then the final draft typed and printed. Calligrams. Calligrams are those super fun poems that make pictures, and we had a lot of fun with those. So this, again, we used in class to help us start brainstorming, and it had examples. This one's about a giraffe. You'll see the shape of the giraffe. So again, classwork, rough draft, final draft, colored. So these are your calligrams. There were 3. They should all be colored. Here's an example. Oh, Miss Robinson did this one about baseball. That's pretty clever. Okay. Oh, look at this cool one. I haven't seen these. This one's about America. And see, it's in the shape of a flag. How cool is that? Okay. Anyways, limerick. So this is what we did yesterday in class. We went through all of this in class, so you should have it all filled out, and your assignment was actually to create 2 original limericks. That was supposed to be done today. So what do you know? Our rough draft original limericks is next on binder paper. And then today we started talking about alliterations. Alliterations, like Peter Piper picked a peck of, I don't even know. So alliterations, we started working on alliterations today. We went through all of this in class. All you had to do is copy down what Miss Robinson wrote down. And then we had our sample alliterations. This is what we actually have to create. You have to create 5 alliterative poems with at least 4 lines. So each line is an alliteration, and if you can make it rhyme, that's even better. These are just better when they rhyme. So here's what is due tomorrow, your 5 alliterative poems. Rough draft, so on binder paper. Okay, and that's it. So we have a binder check on Friday. So please make sure your binder's in order.